Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. We're going to be sifting through some cocktail party chemistry materials today, like episode schedules and their list of factoids.
Sounds fun.
I figured we could use these to pull out some of the most, well, intriguing, I guess, surprising and conversation-worthy nuggets.
Yeah, perfect for, well, like you said, cocktail parties.
Exactly. So get ready to become the most interesting person at your next get-together.
That's a great goal. You know, it's funny how much chemistry is kind of hidden in plain sight, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Once you start noticing it, the world just becomes a much more fascinating place.
For sure, we'll be diving into things like psychedelics, strange drug side effects, and even, get this, the FDA's secret blacklist of banned drug names.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
It is. And we'll also be touching on things like, did you know that our livers actually keep their own time?
Really?
Yeah. And get this, male contraceptives might actually be on the horizon. There's just so much to uncover.
It's really amazing, the stuff that's out there, you know?
Okay, to kick things off, let's talk about something that everyone can relate to. Peanut butter.
Okay, peanut butter.
Have you ever, been enjoying a spoonful of peanut butter and then come across a, well, little insect part?
Oh, I see where you go with this. Yeah, I guess it's happened to everyone at some point.
Right. It turns out that it's pretty much impossible to get food to be completely pure.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, how would you even...
Right. So the FDA actually has what they call action levels for naturally occurring contaminants in food.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like a compromise.
I see. So it's like they're balancing what's scientifically possible with what's actually realistic.
Exactly. And I mean, let's be real. Those tiny little extras probably aren't hurting anyone.
And if it means we can actually afford to buy peanut butter, I'm all for it.
Me too. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Let's talk about something a little weirder. Have you ever heard of phantasmia?
Phantasmia, is that like
It's this thing where you smell stuff that's not actually there, like phantom smell.
oh wow, like smelling things that aren't really there.
Exactly. Apparently, it can be a side effect of certain medications.
Really? What kind of medications?
Some antidepressants and antipsychotics have been known to cause it.
Interesting. So those medications can mess with your sense of smell.
Yeah, pretty wild, right? It kind of makes you wonder what else our brains are capable of, especially when you consider that they can actually produce their own cannabis-like compounds.
Wait, what? Our brains make cannabis.
They do. They're called endocannabinoids. It's like our brain's own personal stash.
Wow, I never knew that.
These molecules, they actually bind to the same receptors in the brain as THC.
Oh wow, so that's how they influence things like mood and pain.
Yeah, and even appetite. It's like nature built in a system for relaxation and enjoyment.
It's amazing how much is going on inside our bodies that we're not even aware of.
I know, right? But speaking of things that are happening behind the scene, you mentioned male contraceptives earlier. Is that something that's actually in the works?
It is, and it's really exciting.
Tell me more.
So, scientists have made some breakthroughs in mapping a protein called the P2X1 receptor,
Okay.
and they believe that blocking this receptor could actually be the key to developing a hormone-free male contraceptive pill.
Wow, so this could be a game changer for family planning.
Absolutely. Men could finally have a safe and reliable way to share the responsibility of contraception.
That's incredible. It just goes to show how understanding the tiniest details of our biology can lead to some pretty big changes.
It's true. Sometimes those tiny details hold the key to unlocking some really big solutions.
Okay, so we've talked about peanut butter, phantom smells, endocannabinoids, and even male contraceptives.
Quite a range of topics.
I know, right? But we're not done yet. Remember those orphan receptors you mentioned?
Yeah, the mysterious ones.
Exactly. They're like these proteins in our cells that we know exist, but we haven't figured out what their purpose is.
It's like they're missing their other half.
Right? And the really exciting thing is that if we can find out what activates them, it could lead to breakthroughs in treating all sorts of diseases.
So they're like hidden treasures waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe the key to unlocking their potential is closer than we think.
It's definitely an exciting area of research.
Okay, before we get too carried away with all the exciting possibilities, let's talk about something a little more serious. Have you heard about the dangers of ketene gas in some vaping products?
Oh yes, that's a really important topic.
It turns out that when certain synthetic cannabinoids are heated during vaping, they can release ketene, which is a really toxic gas.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be aware of.
It's a good reminder that not all cannabis products are created equal. Knowing what you're consuming is so important.
Absolutely. It's always best to err on the side of caution and make sure you're getting your products from a reputable source.
Okay, now let's shift gears to something a little more, well, mind-expanding. Have you heard about the research on psychedelics like psilocybin and their potential to help people cope with the fear of death?
Yeah, that's fascinating stuff.
Some studies suggest that psychedelics can actually help people confront their anxieties about death and even find a sense of peace with it.
It's really profound the way these substances can alter our consciousness and our perceptions of reality.
I know, it's like they're giving people a glimpse of what lies beyond, and that can be incredibly powerful.
It really challenges our understanding of the mind and the nature of reality itself.
But before we delve too deeply into the existential mysteries of life and death, let's talk about something a little more lighthearted, eating with your eyes.
Ah, yes. The art of food presentation.
It turns out that our brains actually pre-taste food based on its appearance.
So a beautifully plated dish will literally taste better than the same food just slopped onto a plate.
Exactly. Our visual perception plays a huge role in how we experience flavor.
That's why chefs put so much effort into making their dishes look appealing. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about enhancing the entire dining experience.
So next time I'm trying to impress guests, I'm going to have to step up my plating game. But on a more serious note, let's talk about the common misconception that FDA approval means a drug is 100% safe.
Right, that's a myth that needs to be busted.
FDA approval is not a one-time guarantee. They're constantly monitoring medications even after they're on the market.
It's an ongoing process of ensuring safety and identifying any unexpected or long-term side effects.
So it's good to know that there's a safety net in place even after a drug hits the pharmacy shelves. But speaking of things hitting the market, remember that drug that was approved for a disease that didn't even exist?
Oh, yeah, the Cribiosin saga, that was a wild one.
It just goes to show that even with all the checks and balances, mistakes can happen.
And that science is an ever-evolving process. What we know today might change tomorrow.
It's a good reminder to always be critical of health information and to do our own research. But let's end this part of our deep dive on a positive note. Have you heard about those people who seem to be immune to hangovers?
Oh, yeah, lucky them.
It turns out they have a genetic variant that helps their bodies process acetaldehyde more efficiently.
So they can enjoy a night out without paying the price the next day.
Now that's a superpower I wouldn't mind having. But speaking of things that sound almost too good to be true, have you heard about those sleeping pills that can cause people to sleepwalk and eat everything in sight?
Wait, really? That sounds like a scene from a movie.
It sounds funny, but it can actually happen. Some medications can cause sleep-related eating disorders.
So people might find themselves raiding their kitchens in the middle of the night without even realizing it?
That's right, it's hilarious and terrifying at the same time. But let's talk about something a little less creepy. Those FDA guidelines for insect parts and processed foods, what's the deal with those?
Ah, yes, the Defect Levels Handbook. It's a fascinating, albeit slightly unsettling, document. It outlines acceptable levels of contaminants in our food, including those crunchy little insect bits.
I guess we're all eating a little extra protein without even knowing it. But before we wrap things up, let's touch on a topic that's both fascinating and mind-boggling. Did you know that LSD can actually alter brainwave activity?
Yeah, it's incredible how LSD can shift the brain into a state of heightened arousal and reduced inhibition.
So it's literally rewiring the brain to experience the world in a different way.
That's why people record having those intense, mind-bending experiences. It's like their brains are operating on a whole new level.
Fascinating. But let's bring things back down to earth for a moment and talk about why some medications work better at night.
Right, that has to do with our circadian rhythms. Our bodies have natural cycles that affect how we process drugs.
So our livers are actually on their own internal schedule.
Exactly. That's why some medications, like those for cholesterol, are more effective when taken at night.
It's like our bodies are telling us when to take our medicine. But speaking of things that can affect our bodies in unexpected ways, have you heard about the brain chemical that can actually block psychedelic trips?
Kynurenic acid? Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It can block certain glutamate receptors, which are involved in the effects of psychedelics.
So it's like our brains have a built-in defense mechanism against altered states of consciousness.
That's incredible. But before we get too lost in the complexities of brain chemistry, let's talk about a cannabis compound that might actually make you smarter without getting you high.
CBG, right. I'm really interested to hear more about that one.
Me too. Early research suggests that CBG may have neuroprotective properties and even enhance learning.
Wow, that's incredible. It seems like every time we think we've got cannabis figured out, there's another fascinating compound waiting to be discovered.
I know, right? But before we get too carried away with all things cannabis, we're going to take a quick break.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to hearing more about CBG and everything else we've got lined up.
Stay tuned for part 2 of our cocktail party chemistry adventure, where we'll delve into even more fascinating facts that will make you the life of any gathering.
Welcome back to our deep dive into all things chemistry.
We've uncovered some pretty wild stuff already, right? Like phantom smells and orange sweat. But we're just getting started. You ready for more mind-blowing chemistry factoids?
Always. Oh, what do you have for us?
Remember those orphan receptors we talked about earlier?
Yeah, the ones that are kind of like locked doors in our cells.
Exactly. Well, get this. Some scientists think the keys to those locks might actually be right under our noses, or rather, in our guts.
In our guts? What do you mean?
They think some orphan receptors in our gut could be activated by, wait for it, molecules produced by our gut bacteria.
You're kidding, right? Like the trillions of little creatures living in our intestines could be sending signals to our brains.
It's wild, isn't it? And it just goes to show how interconnected our gut microbiome is to our overall health. It really is like a whole other world operating inside of us.
It makes you wonder, what else don't we know about the human body?
Right. Speaking of things we're still figuring out, you mentioned earlier that some medications actually rely on gut bacteria to work properly.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Our gut bacteria can actually play a big role in how certain drugs are metabolized.
So if someone doesn't have the right balance of microbes in their gut, a medication might not work as well.
Exactly. It could even lead to some unexpected side effects.
Wow, so our gut bacteria are like part of our personal healthcare team. Pretty amazing.
Definitely not something to take for granted.
Okay, let's switch gears for a bit. What about those medications that can mess with your memory, make you forget things?
It's true. Certain drugs have been linked to memory problems.
Like what?
Things like benzodiazepines and statins, for example, they've been known to cause short-term memory loss.
Really? How bad are we talking here?
Well, some people have reported forgetting entire vacations.
Forgetting a whole vacation. Yikes. I guess it really highlights the importance of being aware of the potential side effects of any medication you're taking.
Absolutely. Even common medications can impact our cognitive function. It's a good reminder to weigh the benefits against the risks.
Okay, noted. I'll definitely be paying closer attention to those medication labels from now on. But let's move on to something a bit more fun, shall we?
Sure. What do you have in mind?
Ever heard of the drug that can keep you awake for days without feeling tired?
Yes. Modafinil, the so-called smart drug.
That's the one. It was originally developed to treat narcolepsy, but it's gained a reputation for its ability to enhance wakefulness and cognitive function.
It's even been used by military pilots on long missions.
Can you imagine being able to stay awake and alert for over 24 hours? It's like something out of a movie. But back to reality for a moment. What about the FDA's role in all of this? How do they ensure that all these drugs are safe and effective?
The FDA plays a crucial role in regulating medications. One of their key responsibilities is making sure that drug names don't sound too similar to each other.
Why is that?
To prevent any mix-ups, of course, they actually have the authority to force drug companies to change a drug's name if it's too close to an existing one.
So it's all about preventing those oops, I took the wrong pill moments.
Exactly. With so many medications out there, it's crucial to avoid any confusion.
Makes sense. You know what else I find fascinating? Apparently some people are genetically immune to hangovers.
It's true. There are some lucky individuals out there who can enjoy a night out without suffering the consequences the next day.
I'm definitely not one of those lucky people. But how does it work?
They have a genetic variant that helps their bodies break down acetaldehyde more efficiently. Acetaldehyde is the toxin that's responsible for those dreaded hangover symptoms.
So their bodies just process it faster. Makes sense. Now that's a superpower I wouldn't mind having. But speaking of things that sound almost too good to be true, what about those sleeping pills that can cause people to sleepwalk to the fridge and eat everything in sight?
Oh yeah, that's a real thing. Sounds funny, but it can actually be a problem for some people.
It's like something out of a comedy sketch. What kind of medications can cause this?
Well, certain medications like Ambien have been linked to sleep-related eating disorders. People might find themselves raiding their kitchens in the middle of the night without even remembering it.
Imagine waking up to an empty fridge and a trail of crumbs leading back to your bed. Talk about a rude awakening.
I know, right? Definitely not the kind of midnight snack anyone wants.
Speaking of snacks, what about those FDA guidelines for insect parts in processed foods? The ones that outline the acceptable levels of contaminants.
Oh, the Defect Levels Handbook. Yes, it's a fascinating read if you're into that sort of thing. It turns out those little crunchy bits are more common than you might think.
Like how common?
Well, for example, chocolate can contain up to 60 insect fragments per 100 grams.
Okay, that's enough food for thought for me today.
Maybe we should switch to a less appetizing topic.
Good idea. How about something mind-bending instead? Like, did you know that LSD can actually alter brainwave activity?
Oh, absolutely. LSD can have a profound effect on the brain. It can shift the brain into a state of heightened arousal and reduce inhibition.
So it literally changes how our brains are functioning.
Exactly. It's why people often report having those intense mind-bending experiences on LSD. It's like their brains are temporarily rewired to experience the world in a completely different way.
Wow, that's fascinating. But let's come back down to earth for a bit and talk about something a little more practical. Like, why do some medications work better when taken at night?
That's all thanks to our internal clocks, our circadian rhythms.
Our bodies are on their own schedule.
Absolutely. Our livers, for example, process drugs differently depending on the time of day. Some medications are actually more effective when taken at night because that's when our bodies are naturally producing more of the substances they target.
So it's like our bodies are telling us when to take our medicine. That's pretty cool. But speaking of things that affect our bodies in unexpected ways, Have you heard about the brain chemical that can actually block psychedelic trips?
You mean kynureninic acid?
That's the one. What's the deal with that?
Well, it's a naturally occurring brain chemical that can block certain glutamate receptors, which are involved in the effects of some psychedelics.
So our brains has a built-in defense mechanism against altered states of consciousness.
It seems that way. Researchers believe that kynureninic acid may play a role in regulating our cognitive function and even contribute to conditions like schizophrenia.
Wow, the brain is a mysterious and powerful thing. But before we get too lost in the complexities of brain chemistry, I want to talk about something that has me really intrigued. Have you heard about the cannabis compound that might actually make you smarter? Without getting you high, that is.
You're talking about cannabidiol, right? CBG.
That's it. I've heard some pretty amazing things about it.
Me too. Early research suggests that CBG may have neuroprotective properties and even enhance learning.
So it's like the brainy cousin of THC.
You could say that. It seems like every time we think we've got cannabis figured out, there's another fascinating compound waiting to be discovered.
It really is a treasure trove of chemical wonders. But I think we've covered enough ground for now. Ready to wrap things up?
Sure, let's move on to the final part of our cocktail party chemistry adventure.
And we're back for the grand finale of our cocktail party chemistry extravaganza. We've journeyed through the strange and wonderful world of chemistry, uncovering hidden secrets and those, mind-boggling facts.
And we've saved some of the best for last. Get ready for the grand finale, folks. Chemical curiosities galore.
You mentioned earlier a cannabis compound that could boost brain power, but without, getting you high. Tell me more.
Right, it's called cannabidiol, or CBG for short. Think of it like the diligent student of the cannabis family, all about enhancing neuroprotection, promoting learning.
So THC is the party animal, and CBG is the one hitting the books.
Haha, exactly. Early research suggests that CBG might have some really incredible potential for cognitive enhancement.
Wow, that's exciting. But let's switch gears for a moment and talk about something a little closer to home, like, our food. Remember those FDA guidelines we discussed earlier? The ones about acceptable levels of contaminants?
Ah, yes, the Defect Levels Handbook. It's a fascinating, well, maybe a little unsettling glimpse into the realities of food production. Turns out, achieving absolute purity is almost impossible.
Right, and so the FDA sets these levels to ensure food safety, but they're also acknowledging that there are practical limitations, with processing and manufacturing.
Exactly. It's all about striking a balance, right? Between keeping things safe and keeping things affordable.
It's like chemistry is all about finding that sweet spot, between what we want and what's actually possible in the real world.
I like that. It's constant negotiation between science and practicality. Speaking of negotiations, did you know that the FBA actually banned a perfectly safe food color simply because it looked too similar to a dangerous one?
Wait, really? They judged a dye by its color? That's wild. What was the story there?
It was red dye number 2. It was a common food coloring, but it looked a lot like another red dye that one was known to be toxic.
Oh, I see.
So to avoid any confusion or, accidental ingestion of the harmful dye, the FDA decided to just ban red dye number 2 altogether, even though it was perfectly safe.
So even in the world of science, sometimes perception can be more powerful than the facts. It's a good reminder to be critical of what we see and hear, not to jump to conclusions.
Absolutely. But let's end our deep dive on on a lighter note. How about those folks who can eat all the sugar they want without any, blood sugar spikes?
I remember those lucky ducks.
They have a rare genetic mutation that affects a glucose transporter in their body. So they can basically eat a whole cake and their blood sugar will stay perfectly stable.
That's amazing. Imagine all the dessert possibilities. But for now, I think we've reached the end of our cocktail party chemistry adventure.
It's been a wild ride through the world of chemistry. We've explored everything from peanut butter contaminants to mind-altering drugs.
And hopefully we've armed you with some fascinating factoids that will make you the life of the party.
And maybe even spark some curiosity about the amazing world of chemistry. Remember, folks, even the most mundane things have incredible stories hidden behind them, waiting to be discovered.
So stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop asking questions. Until next time, happy experimenting.